Good evening, one and all. In today's session, we will start with the topic of strings in C language. In our previous session, we have studied the last part of arrays and we have finished seeing the arrays in C language. There are total 6 videos that have been prepared for this topic of arrays, which you can access from the sheet to revise the concepts. So from today's session, we can see the concept of strings. So the agenda for today is to first see how to implement strings. Then we will have a small discussion on the quiz on pointers. And then I will explain that how you can eliminate the errors in the coding challenge which I have given. And there are about 6.5 days remaining for you to submit that coding challenge. Now, there are two ways to use strings in C language. One is with the help of arrays, and the other is with the help of the syntax or the rules of strings. So as I said, we are seeing strings in this session. The first way is using arrays, which we have already seen. Let me show you once again. So as usual, you must first include your header file, that is standard input output. Otherwise, you will not be able to use scanf and printf and other input output functions. Then you can use void main, which is compulsory for each program. There should be only one main function in each C program. Now, if we want to use string with the help of array, suppose as, and we know that string is a collection of characters. So the data type of our array should be char or character. We can name our array as str. Str means string. We can give it any name. And then we can specify the size over here. Suppose we want to store 5 characters, then 5 we will write here. And now I want to initialize it directly. So what I can do, within single quotation, I can write my characters. Separate them with a comma in between. Capital letters or small letters, uppercase or lowercase, both are correct. But use only single quote. Otherwise, it will give you an error. Now I have stored 3 characters. I can store another 2 characters. Okay, if you write any number within the quotation, it becomes a character. Okay, anything within the quotation mark, single quote or double quote, it is treated as a character or string respectively. Anything within single quote becomes a string. Even if I write 3 within single quote, it becomes a string. Even if I write, suppose dollar, and if I write it within single quote, this whole thing is a character. So I have stored 5 characters. Now this is one way of declaring and initializing on the same line. If I want to do it on 2 separate lines, I can write str, write the size over here, then either use for loop and one by one accept it from the user, or in case of initializing, I can write str of 0 equal to, within single quote, the character. Okay, I can do it for str of 0, of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and here since I have first declared it, it is compulsory to specify the size in the square bracket. And here since I've declared and initialized at the same time, even if I don't give the size in the square bracket, it is okay. The compiler automatically understands that there are 5 characters. And then to print this string, okay, this is the main difference between the two approaches. To print the string, either you print one by one. To print the string, either you print one by one with the help of printf, writing %d and then comma and then str of 0. Similarly, you can do it for str of 1, 2, 3 and so on. Or as we know, for loop starting from I is equal to 0, I is less than size. What is the size? 5 and I plus plus. And in this for loop, we can print the characters. And since it is a repetitive process, we are using the for loop. So here same thing, %d, but this time what you'll write, str of what? Yes, str of what?
I.
I.
Yes, str of I. Then I is 0, then it will become str of 0. When I is 1, it will become str of 1. And this way you can print each of the characters of the string. This is using the arrays concept. Now, there is another approach in which you will not have to use this for loop to print the string. Okay, that is why we are using the string with the second approach, because we will not have to use for loop to display the string like this one by one. That other approach is this one. The string can be defined as a one-dimensional array, but if you are using it as a string, you must terminate it with a null character. Now, what is this null character? In C language, the compiler understands that a string is finished or it is terminated as soon as you get this null character. For example, suppose str is your string. Then you can have the characters as, and a string is usually written in double quote. As we know, we can write any sentence. You can write any sentence within double quote, then it becomes a string. Now, how to identify that the string is complete or not? For this, there is a \0 at the end of every string. And this \0, the compiler sometimes puts it on its own, or sometimes the user needs to put. Okay, when we see examples, it will become clear for you. So why we need this \0? Because the compiler should understand that when the string is complete or when the string is over. Now, how this will be represented in memory? I have written here the C string \0. Now, how this thing will be represented in memory, I will show you. So you can consider that in memory, there is one block. Okay, these are the consecutive memory locations, one after the other. And you can store your characters in this memory block. So suppose I just reduce the length of my string to explain it to you better. So the how many characters are there? T, H, E, and there is one null character. So first you will store the character T in memory. Then you will store the character H consecutively. Then E will be stored, and then \0 will be stored. So if this is str, your character, your array, or your C string, then the character T is located at str of 0. The character H is at str of 1. The character E is at str of 2, and null character is at str of 3. So one thing that we need to keep in mind is here you have only three characters THE that you want to display. Okay, you don't want to display the null character, and it will not get displayed when you print the string. The null character will not get displayed. Now you want to display only three characters, but how many characters are stored in the string? There are four characters: T, H, E, and null character. Null character is nothing but \0. So there are four characters, but actually you want to display three characters, that is T, H, E. So for this, the size of the string will be 4, but the content of the string is only 3 characters. What I mean to say, whenever you initialize your string, you can write char str, and then within square brackets, you must write 4 because there are 4 characters. But actual string is what? The. The actual string is the, but there are total 4 characters. So always the number of characters which are in your string plus 1 is the size of your string. Here there are 3 characters in my string which I want to display. So size of string should be plus 1 to accommodate the null character, which is an extra character. Now, See here, suppose our character is of this one. This is our string. So this is the initialization. You can write it as this way. Within single quote, specify all the characters, and at the last you can specify the null character. And size will be what? This string has 9 characters, but size of the array is 10. 1 plus the total number of characters to accommodate null character. So this is how it is stored in memory. 0 to 9 is your actual string, and at the 10th index, at index number 10, you'll have your null character. Now, let us see what are the possible examples of strings, how we can declare and initialize. See, here I want to store the string John, John. Okay, this should be my output, John. Now there are 4 characters, but the size of the string will be what? 4 plus 1, that is 5, if I am including null character. So initially, if you do not include null character, what will be the size of the string? 4. If you include the null character, size of the string will be 5. So here in the first case, if I don't include null character, it gives me an error. Now see here carefully. Char C is the name of the string and its size is 4. Then on the next line, I'm initializing C of 0, C of 1, of 2, and of 3. And then without using for loop, okay, without using for loop, I'm writing printf %s, comma, the name of the string. Okay, so this will give me an error. If here I had used my for loop to display the characters, it would not give error. Nicely, it would display JOHN. But since I'm using the syntax of strings, so I must use null character at the end, and I'm displaying it using %s. Since I'm displaying it using %s and not the for loop, if I do not include my null character, it gives me an error. Means error in the sense it will not give you the desired output. So here you have JOHN, and after that you have certain garbage value. Okay, you have certain characters, then you have d, you have square root 2, means anything garbage which is not desired will be displayed after your actual string. Okay, if you don't give null character, like this weird output you'll get. So what is the solution? If you are using printf %s, means you want to use string, means you have to use null character at the end of your string, and so size will be +1. Now, even if your size is minimum size should be 5 if you're using null character in this case. Total characters are what? JOHN, which are 4 characters, and then null character. Total is 5. But suppose you give extra memory. That means if you use the size as 20, that is also fine. Okay? Means what? If you give the size greater than what is required, it will be okay. How the compiler will understand where I have to stop? As soon as it sees the null character, it will understand that the string is complete. That is why we need to give null character. Okay, let me show you once again. So suppose I write JOHN and then I give null character. And the size of my string is 5. Okay, it is perfectly fine because JOHN 4 plus null character 5. Now suppose I write str of 20 and then again I write JOHN within my double quotes. Now how the compiler will understand the string is complete? With the help of \0. So actually there are 20 memory locations, 20 blocks, out of which you are using only 5 blocks. So how it will get stored in memory, I will show you. Suppose there are many blocks over here, but your string is what? JOHN and \0. So first character will be stored here, then O will be stored, then H will be stored, and then N will be stored, and then \0. And the remaining locations, even if they are present in your string, it is okay. They will not be considered. Why? Because as soon as backslash n appears, compiler understands that string is complete. Have you understood till here whatever I've explained?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you
I have
want
a
to use, yes,
if suppose there are two words and there is a space between those two words, so that
yes,
space is also counted, no?
yes, space is also one
In front
character.
of
Yeah, space is also counted.
okay.
Yeah, I'll come to that also. So now we have seen two ways. One is arrays, which is simple. In arrays implementation, what you'll do, you have to not give null character. Normal array, and you can access using for loop. But if you want to use strings, compulsory it should be that there is a null character at the end of your string, and the number of space or the space that you allocate, it can be exact or it can be more. If it is more, then the compiler knows where to stop using the null character. Now there are different ways in which you can use this. One is, if you don't give null character and you're using %s to display string, it will give you certain garbage values after your actual string. If you use null character, as in this example, it will give you the exact string JOHN. And here, if you are initializing separately, C of 0, C of 1, C of 2, C of 3, and then C of 4 will be null character within single quote. This is if you're initializing separately. There is another way you can initialize directly, single character by character. Within single quote J, comma, within single quote O, comma, H, comma, N, and then and then backslash 0. Okay, this is how, either separately or together. Now, whenever you print the length of the string, you have to use the function strlen. Okay, this is a built-in function which you can use. Like how you use your printf, scanf, you have to simply call the function. You have to not define it. It is inbuilt function which is already defined. You have to simply call it. So to use this inbuilt function strlen, this is my inbuilt function strlen. It stands for string length. Okay. In arrays, what we used to do, we used to use the size of array divided by size of a of 0. This is how we used to compute the number of elements in the array. To compute the number of characters in your string, use the function strlen. And the length, that is, it will not, the length will be how much? JOHN, that is 4. The length is 4. Okay, it will not include the null character in the length. The length will be only this much, that is 4. Null character is just for the efficiency or for the purpose of the compiler to understand. It will not display it and it will not count it in the length. Total length of your string is 4. And size, okay, size we have to check whether it will be 5 or whether it will be 4. Now, as we know, character occupies in memory how many bytes? 1 byte. So if there are 5 characters, it occupies 5 bytes. So now we have to check whether null character is included in the size or not. So let me switch to dev C++. So here I have to write, since it is a string, data type is str, then I must write the size 5, and then character by character I can store. And then if I don't give null character, it will give me some garbage value. So I must include null character also. Now let us print the value of strlen. So it is a length, that is integer. So I must use %d strlen of what? Str. Str is the name of my string. So string length of str. This is the function calling, inbuilt function calling. And I also want to print size of my string. Now I'll tell you what is the difference between size and length. So size can be found out using which one? Size of operator. That is size of str. So length is equal to your actual string. JOHN 4 characters, so string length should be 4. Now let's see what is the size. So let me save this program. save it as a C file, and then run it. And one more thing that I must tell you is, if you want to use this inbuilt function of strlen, you must include one header file. For printf scanf, which header file we include? stdio.h. For the string functions, okay, there are many string functions which we are going to see. One of them is string length, strlen. To use this, you must include the library or the header file string.h. Okay, if you don't include, it will give you an error, just as you saw now. So once I include this header file, I must also give one semicolon here. Okay, so let me give a \n so that we can see the output on different lines. Okay, so it is giving me the length as 4, that is total number of characters which you want to display. You don't want to display null characters, so total number of characters is 4. But size is what? How much memory is allocated for each character? 1 byte. So for 5 characters, including null character, the size is 5. So we understood that string length is actual number of characters, excluding null character, but size is including null character. I repeat, length is without null character, size is with null character. Okay, have you understood till now what is the difference between length and size?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, yes. Now, it is, suppose you have a big string like example. Suppose the string is str, okay, char str, okay, some size, and then suppose my string is, it is a sunny day. Then what I'll write? Within single quote T space, within single quote H space, within single quote E, then space, then within single quote space, the space, okay, the sunny day suppose, then S. Okay, this is a tedious task, right? Separating each character, writing it as a within single quote, then writing comma. It is a tedious task. So there is an alternative for this, for the big strings. The alternative is, you can write it this way. Okay, without writing comma in between, simply write within double quote, okay, because it is a string. Write your string and then close your double quote. Now, as you can see, I have written it here without specifying the size. It is okay. As we know, if we initialize and declare on the same line, if you don't write size, it is okay. So first let us run this program and see what happens. Okay, I'm not giving my \0, that is null character, and I'm writing printf, and here I'm writing %s and then str. I want to print this string. So as you can see, it is not giving me any garbage after it. So what we understand, if we write character by character, at the end we must write null character. The user or the programmer must write. But if we initialize it like this, within double quote together, then we must not write null character. So what is the difference? I'll show you once again. The difference is, if you are writing character by character, at the end you must specify null character. Okay, you must specify. But if you are writing it as a string, as a complete one sentence, then you must not write null character. It will not give you error. Now, if I write my size as 5 and run it, no error. If I write my size as 4 and I run it, see here, you're getting error. Why you're getting error? Can anyone tell me? See, my string is what? Actual string is a 4 character, but the compiler has to include the null character on its own, right? Compiler has to include null character on its own. What was the difference? If you are writing character by character, you have to specify null character. But if you write it as a sentence, you have to not specify null character. The compiler automatically understands about the null character. So the compiler, so that it can on its own it can insert the null character. The compiler on its own has to insert the null character. So you must specify the accommodation for that null character. You must specify the 5 as the size. Okay, so that compiler can insert \0 on its own. If you do not specify size as 5 but as 4, that is the actual number of characters, then the compiler is not able to insert the \0. So it is giving you garbage as in the previous cases. Have you understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So let us revise all the cases that we have seen up till now so that the idea gets clear. Suppose we have a string and I'm initializing it as I want to I want to store my string as this one, JOHN. So what are the possible ways? The first way is I can write char str size. It's a declaration. Suppose I write 4. Then I can write str of 0 is equal to within single quotes j. Then I can write str of 1 within single quotes o. And then so on I can go. But if I don't include my null character, that is this case. If I don't include my null character, then it gives me garbage. If I include null character on my own, if I include, it does not give me garbage. Now, another case is what? When we use it as a sentence, when we specify it as a sentence. How can we specify as a sentence? Char, str, some size, say 5, and then we write it as JOHN. We must specify the size as 1 greater than the actual number of characters so that compiler can specify null character on its own. If we write 4, it will give me garbage. If we write 5, that is one extra, which we must do, then it will not give me garbage. And in C language, whatever strings we use is following this particular syntax, which I've highlighted. What is the syntax? Write your string as a sentence and write the size as 1 greater than the total number of characters. I repeat, write your string as a sentence and the total number of characters or the size is equal to 1 greater. Suppose there are 4 characters which you want to display, size should be 5. If there are 20 characters, size should be 21. Okay, so that the compiler can insert null character on its own. Have you understood till now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. So keep these things in mind. And what you are going to use in your programs, this syntax. Size is equal to 1 greater and you will not specify the null character. I hope you have understood this. So we have seen this much till now. Now let us proceed. Now we have seen that when we are using it as a sentence, we can write it this way by specifying size and as a sentence without null character. Now what if I write it on 2 different lines? Means what I want to say. First I write char str. I specify the size because I'm declaring. On the next line I write str of 0. Sorry, on the next line I write str of 5 and then I write my string as JOHN. And since I'm specifying it as a sentence, I will not write null character. But here you're declaring, here you're initializing. Though you have not written null character, size is 1 greater, it will give you error. It is not allowed, okay? Separate line, if you declare and initialize, it is not allowed. So what is the correct syntax? On the same line, you must write string with the size which is 1 greater and then your string as a sentence without specifying the null character on your own. But if you write it on 2 different lines, it will give you error. Okay, so if you don't want to remember anything, just remember this syntax. Okay, this is the one which you have to use always. Now the next case that we can analyze is this one. As I said, okay, the size will be always how many characters are there and length is your actual string. Okay, now this is all about strings. Now if you want to go into a little advanced part, a pointer to a character. Now what I'm saying, pointer to a character. So here the concept of pointers has to be used. Now, as we know, in arrays, we can use pointers to keep a track of the elements, in the sense that if you initialize a pointer to an array, you have to simply increment the pointer to access the elements of the array. Okay, you have to simply increment the pointer to access the elements of the array. Initially, pointer will point to the first element of the array. When you increment the pointer, there is address incrementation. Address will be incremented. So pointer will point to the second element. Then it will point to the third and then to the fourth if you increment. So similarly, we can use pointer with the help of strings also. String and pointers can be used together. So here, similar thing, pointer will point to the first character of the string. Then you increment the pointer, pointer will point to the second character of the string, then to the third character and so on. So let us see that now. See here, arrays and pointers are different, but you can use them together. That is correct, that we know. Arrays and pointers are not the same. They are different concepts, but we can use them in collaboration, and we can use them together to bring out the required operation. So here, first sentence you can see, first statement, char c1 is the name of my string. What I have to write the size as 1 greater. Hello has how many characters? 5 characters. So my size of the string is 1 greater, that is 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, till now everything is perfect. We know this. Now we have to write the syntax as char asterisk c2. So let us just revise some part of pointers now so that you can understand this easily. If I write int asterisk ptr is equal to arr. So here we know that the pointer is to an integer. Okay, if we write here ampersand a, where a is some variable. Okay, a is a variable which holds the value 4. If I write int asterisk ptr equal to ampersand a, so we know pointer is pointing to variable a. And how we know the a is an integer, or how we know that it is pointing to an integer? If we write int asterisk ptr, means pointer is pointing to an integer. So if I write char asterisk ptr, pointer is pointing to which data type? Can you tell me? Yes, pointer is pointing to which character, right? If a is
Yes.
a yeah, if a is a character, suppose it holds the character d, means a is actually a character d, and here I write ampersand a. Now ptr is pointing to a, and ptr, what is the data type of ptr? Char star. We know that ptr is pointing to a character. So if I write, if I make this as a string, okay, here I write it as 6 as the size, and I'm using HELLO. Okay, this is a string now. So if I write asterisk ptr, and as we know, if we want to point it to an array, we don't write ampersand. Okay, it will work even if we don't write ampersand. So if I write without ampersand a, so pointer is pointing to a character. Okay, now pointer is pointing to a character. But this is what? It is a collection of characters, not a single character. Since it is a collection of characters, it is a string. So we must say that pointer is pointing to a string. So the syntax is what? The data type that you have to use is char only. But since it is a collection of characters, it is a string. You cannot write a data type like string over here. You must write char only. Okay, the data type is char only, but it is a string. Similarly, when you initialize your pointer, you must write char only, but it is a string. Why? Because it is pointing to a string. My pointer is pointing to a string. Have you understood till here?
Yes.
Yeah. I Everyone has understood? Please
Yes.
respond. Okay. Now, how is this beneficial to us? How can the pointer to a string be beneficial? So here, how is this thing? Char asterisk c2. And then I'm saying c2 equal to c1. Okay, this is one way, or I can say char, I'm writing it here, char asterisk c2 equal to c1. Okay, this is also valid, or char asterisk c2 on the next line, c2 equal to c1. Now we know how to access each character of a string. How? str of 0 or str of 1 or str of 2. Similarly, here we can write str of c1, we can write c1 of 0, we can write c1 of 1, c1 of 2. But since c2 is a pointer to c1, we can also write c2 of 0 or c2 of 1 or c2 of 3. Okay. Since c2 is a pointer to c1, we can write c2 of 0. We can write c2 of 1. We can write c2 of 2. And obviously we can write c1 of 0, c1 of 1, c1 of 2. Okay. Since it is a pointer to the character array, since it is a pointer to the string, we can write c2 of 0, c2 of 1. Now, how we can update the characters in our array? We can update it by saying c2 of 0 is equal to character a. Means what will happen? Let me show you here. If I write, okay, now this is c1. c2 is a pointer to c1. I can write c1 of 0 and I can print it. I can write c2 of 0. I can print it. What is c1 of 0? Can you tell me?
H.
H.
Very good. It is h. What is c2 of 0? Can you tell me?
H.
Yes, it is h. Similarly, if I write c2 of 1, it becomes e. Means I want to act, it will print e. Now, what we can do to update our string means if we want to change a particular character, we want to change a single character in a string, we can write c2 of 1 and within single quote I can write a. So after this is done, the string will become h a l l o. E will get replaced with a because c2 of 1 means I'm pointing to e. Okay, I'm pointing to e and I'm changing it to a. Okay, this is the way you can update your particular character of your string. Now let us try something. Char c1 equal to hello char asterisk c2 equal to c1, and then I'm saying c1 of 0. I want to change it to a, suppose. So my string should become AELLO. Similarly, if I write C2 of 2, now my current, and I want to, since I should write this in single quote, if I want to change the character L, the first L, if I want to change, I want to make it S. So now my current string is AELLO. And after that, I'm changing the next character. It becomes AESLO. Right? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how you can update. So let us first print our array now, our string. How we'll do? What format specifier? What I have to write? %d, %s. What I should write?
%s.
Yeah, %s. And then the name of my array. Now I can use C1 also. C1, C2, anything you can use. Why? Because both refer to the same memory, right? So C1, C2, anything you can use. So as I had said, you're getting AESLO. So by this statement, what you're getting AELLO, and by the next updation, you're getting AESLO. AESLO, yeah. So this is how you can update. Now, if you want to update your complete string, what you can do is, let us test this. You can write C1 is equal to, suppose I write AESLO. So now I've changed my complete string. Okay, the complete string I've changed, not character by character, but as a sentence. Now let us print. So I have not specified the size. Let us specify and see what happens. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So size should be 1 greater to accommodate null character. Okay, so what is happening? It is not getting updated. That means another indication is as a complete you cannot update it. Character by character you can update. So you might be thinking, if I specify the data type as well, what will happen? It is giving me an error because there are same variables names. You cannot have the same name again and again for the variable. So this is one error. So suppose I want to say that I am referring to the same thing, but you cannot change it like this directly. What you can do, you can change it character by character. Okay, suppose I write it like before. So now C1 of 0 will get updated. It will become AELLO. Okay, this is fine. So one more thing that we learned is character by character updation is possible, but the whole string you cannot update at a time. Have you understood this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these are the uh, what is allowed and what is disallowed for the string data type. Okay, you must keep all these things in mind. Now, if I want to access my string with the help of the pointer, so what I can do is in my for loop, or if I want to write it this way, okay, C2 is a pointer to C1. Now I want to access the element H. So I can write it by saying C2 square bracket 0, C2 of 0. This is fine. But this is like our normal array syntax, right? If we want to access using pointer, we can simply write asterisk C2. Let us test this. It is not running. Suppose I write asterisk of, okay, the syntax is asterisk of C2 plus 0. That means my pointer initially is pointing to H, which is at index 0. And at that I'm adding 0. So 0 plus 0 means it is indicating the same index value and the value at that index. Okay, the value at that index by asterisk operator. Oh, just a minute. I am using the wrong thing. %c if I use, let's see. Yeah, now the format specifier was wrong, so it was not running because character I'm printing, right? Not a string. So I have to use %c. So it is printing the first thing. Suppose I write C2 plus 1. So it is pointing to the character E. So when I run it, it is giving me E. Similarly, if I write C2 plus 2, what I'll get at my output? Can you tell me?
L.
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 Yes, very correct. Very good. We'll get L. If I write C2 plus 3, you'll get the next L. C2 plus 4, you'll get the O. Now, if I write only C2, okay, value at C2, it will give me H. Because only C2 means what? C2 plus 0 means the H character. If I write only C2, let's see what happens. So it is giving me some garbage value, right? It is giving me U, which is not in my array. So when you use %c and when you write C2, you'll get garbage. Let me write here. If I write %s and I write C2, my whole string will get printed, right? String gets printed. Now, if I write %c and I write asterisk of C2, it is like asterisk of C2 plus 0. So it will give me the letter H. If I write asterisk of C2 plus 1, I will get the character E. And similarly, then if I print C2 plus 2, Okay, let us comment this out for now and see what happens. Again, it is giving me garbage. So this is not allowed. What is allowed? Asterisk of C2 plus 2. Okay, if I write C2 plus 2, it will give me garbage. But if I write asterisk of C2 plus 2, it will give me the value at index 2. That is, it will give me L. Have you understood till now how we can implement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Now, in for loop, how you can do it? You can write asterisk of C2 plus I. Means first it will be I is equal to 0. So asterisk of C2 plus 0, then asterisk of C2 plus 1, then asterisk of C2 plus 2. In this way, you can use for loop. Or if you want individually, C2 plus 0, C2 plus 1, and so on. So as we know, pointers will point to the, for a string, it will point to the first character. When you increment, it will point to the next character and so on. So C2, if you print the value of C2, C2 will be what? Since it is a pointer, the value of C2 is the address of the string. Address of string means what? Address of the first element of the string. And address of first element of the string is 200. So value of C2 is 200 and the value at 200 is h. I repeat, value of C2, since it is a pointer, is 200 and the value at 200 is h. Now, if I write C2 plus I, okay, see this, if I write C2 plus I, C2 of I, okay, like how we write in arrays, it is equivalent to asterisk of C2 plus I. If I write C1 of I, it is equivalent to asterisk of C1 plus I. Okay, we know this. Now, if I write C1 is equal to C1 plus 1, means I want to increment. Means what I want to say, let me show you so that you can understand. We know that C2 is a pointer to C1. So we can use it like C2 plus plus. And then we can, means C2 plus plus will, what it will point to? First it is pointing to 0. When I do plus plus, it will point to E. And then I want to print asterisk of C2 plus, I want to print only asterisk of C2. Means it is first, if I print asterisk of C2, it is pointing to what? H. So H will get displayed. When I do C2 plus plus, it is pointing to what? E. So when I do asterisk of C2 now, after doing C2 plus plus, it will print E. Next, if I do C2 plus plus, and then if I want to print asterisk of C2, it will print L. Next, if I do C2 plus plus, and then I print asterisk of C2, it will point to what? L. Okay, HELLO. Okay, this is what is an alternative to this. The alternative is I can print asterisk of C2 plus 1. Then I want to print asterisk of C2 plus 2. Okay, this is one way. Or what you do, simply print asterisk of C2, means C2 plus 0. Then this will print what? It will print H. Then asterisk of C2 plus 1 will print E. Then it will print L. An alternative is what? Asterisk of C2, that is C2 plus 0, it will print H. Then I do C2 plus plus, it will point to E. Then if I print asterisk of C2, it will print E. Then I increment, it will go to L. Then if I print C2, it will print L. Okay, so these are two ways. Either you do the increment inside the bracket and then print the value at that location. Okay, inside you have to add whatever, or outside you do the increment and then you print asterisk of C2. Okay, both are the same. It will give you same output. Have you understood this? The two ways?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can keep this in mind. Either you use like this or increment and then print, increment and then print. It will give you the same thing. Now this is possible, let this incrementing, because it is a pointer to C1. If I do it on C1, okay, it will not work, because on C1, which is a string, you cannot do plus plus, because plus plus is increment, which is an operation that can be performed on numbers, on integers. If a is equal to 5, I do a plus plus, a becomes 6. But if I do on a string plus plus, okay, it will not happen. But if I do it on a pointer to a string, it will work. Why? Because we can increment the pointers. That is why incrementing the address. On pointers, plus plus is valid. C2 is a pointer, so on C2 I can do plus plus. But C1, since it is a string, I cannot do plus plus on it directly. So how can I do plus plus on a string? Through a pointer to the string. Have you understood?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone has understood?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think this is enough for now. Now I can discuss the quiz on pointers. So till now you have any doubts? You can quickly ask me.
If
Any doubt?
suppose after zero, backslash zero, if we write something, then it will show error, or if it would not print that.
It will not print, because as soon as the null character, that is backslash zero, is detected, it indicates that the string is complete to the compiler. Compiler understands that string is complete. So first let me try this. So in this type of string, that is when you're writing it as a sentence, if I give backslash zero and then I write world, and then using %s, if I print my string by specifying the name of the string, let us see what happens. Let me comment this out. As you can see, after the null character, it is not printing. Similarly, if I write here as 20, and then line by line or character by character I'm initializing, I write C1 of 0 is equal to H. Then I write C1 of 1 is E. Then I write C1 of 2 is null character. And then I print C1 of 3 is W. So here in between we have null character, and then I'm trying to print the string. So as you can see, after the null character W was there, it is not getting printed. So if by mistake or intentionally, unintentionally or intentionally, if null character comes in between, whatever is after null character, it will not get displayed. And one more thing, if you have spaces in between your string, that is you have a sentence, it is a sunny day, there are a number of spaces in between the words, then if you use the knowledge that I've given you till now in this session, this type of string, it will print only till the first space. That means suppose you have the sunny day, then if you print the string, it will only print the. Okay, so to handle multiple word strings or multiple character strings in which you have space, or to print a sentence, you have to use certain built-in function. Okay, that function is called get and put. That is defined in string.h, or it is in stdlib.h. I'll tell you. So for printing a sentence which has spaces, you cannot use this. It will only print till the. So that we'll see in the next session. Okay. Any other doubts till now?
No.
Others? If you have no doubts, you can say no.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So now we will switch to the discussion on pointers quiz. Okay, so today little extra, I'll take another 15 minutes. Okay, just kindly attend. So just a minute.